Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, whenever you're ready. Thanks.
Hi, Will. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Yeah, of course. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I like your background, Tracy.
Well, it's wishful thinking. We're getting ready to get dumped on snow here, up to 8 inches. So,
Oh, wow. Where are
so
you?
I'm in the Midwest in Kansas City,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
but wishing I was in St. Kitts.
Yes, I can understand that.
So I saw your movie, really enjoyed it. It was one of the scariest movies that I saw all of last year, and definitely was the best thing that I saw in Fantastic Fest. So it was great. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah, no, I love hearing that because I'm proud of this movie, and I'm proud of what we created, and I feel like it's a really strong movie, and it's nice to hear when it's reciprocated and people have strong positive reactions to it.
Absolutely. This was a really scary movie despite all the camp, and there's a fair amount of humor in it too. Why do you think it's so scary?
Well, I think it's scary because, one, for a lot of people, especially when there's so many people who are Catholic or Christian, and we grow up going to church, and we see the church, and we see the experience of being in the church, and these figures that are around the church, these icons, and they're kind of scary to small children. And so we all have this emotional experience of fear and of these characters, and also we're supposed to be kind of in awe of them or respect them at the same time. And so it's a for a child, in a way, it's kind of confusing. And I feel like that seed is also what Alejandra experienced as a child, the director. And so I think that was his jumping off point to create this story. And I think it resonates with a lot of people for that reason.
Absolutely. Are you religious, or did you grow up Catholic or anything like that, so you had some of those same kinds of experiences?
I grew up Christian, or more specifically Protestant or Presbyterian, but I didn't enjoy the experience of going to church.
Right.
So once I hit a certain age, I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not enjoying this. I'm not getting positive experience out of this. So then I've kind of, on my own, I found my own kind of spirituality, which is less, I guess, less based on a certain church per se, or a certain organization, and is more based on a holistic nature experience of spirituality. And so I ground myself in that. So I didn't have a place to jump off from of being a strong Catholic or a strong religious person. So I used my spirituality as my faith.
Perfect. What drew you to this film?
I mean, come on, Tracy.
Well, I know what.
Why would you even ask that question?
Did you?
You can answer that for me. Come on.
I'm assuming you read the script, and
yes,
and just the idea of the demons had to have been enough to sign you up. Plus, I'm of a certain age where I am old enough to have seen Exorcist, not when it first came out, but years later. And I mean, there's obvious nods, and I mean, this is an homage. It's a love letter to The Exorcist. Yeah. You like that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I read the script and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. These scenes are like crazy. I've never seen these scenes before. They all totally make sense. They're not like being done for shock value or for some cheap tactic. They all totally fit. And I was like, this is a crazy, brilliant movie. So I was like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. Let's go to Mexico City and let's create magic. I mean, and I'm happy that it's showing up on the screen. It's having huge responses in Mexico and Latin America. It's still doing really, really well in the box office after being in there for over a month. So I feel like I'm hoping it has a really long shelf life here in the US too. It was going to be released in a small theatrical release, and now it's being moved to 66 theaters throughout the country. And like it's almost in every city. I mean, I wonder if it's in Kansas City. I don't know if it's in Kansas City, but it'll be somewhere near you in the theaters.
Yeah,
It might be St. Louis,
yeah. I know it. There are a couple of smaller theaters here in Kansas City that are showing it, and then of course there's a couple in St. Louis as well. So
Awesome.
I can't imagine that people are not going to be super excited about this movie, because I mean, just
I hope.
buzz alone.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's true. And the word of mouth has been really strong in Latin America, and I hope that stays here in the US, or like relatives are calling their people in the US being like, you got to see this movie. This is a crazy movie.
Absolutely. You've done a couple of scary movies now. Do you prefer scary movies? Do you
what scary movies have I done? I haven't been in any scary movies.
Yeah, probably the biggest one in the last couple of years. And you were a bad person in that movie.
No, I wasn't.
In chapter 2.
See? Tom Rogan in chapter 2, he's a sweet man. He cares about his wife.
Everybody wants to be married to him, right?
He wants the best for her. Yeah, he's a great lover. He's very passionate. He's he cares about his family. He cares about his wife and the success of their business. Yeah, he's a great guy. What are you talking about, Tracy?
Yeah, he's a solid guy. Definitely a lot of comparisons.
I'm done with this. I'm done with this interview after that insult, Tracy.
So I'm guessing the humor that comes across between you and Father Michael, it's because both of you are kind of funny guys, and you just had good chemistry together.
Well, yeah, we had a great situation. We all lived together in this amazing house in Mexico City. So Father Michael and I were roommates, as so was Maria Gabriela de Faria. We were all roommates in this house, not in the same room, thank God. We all had our own private rooms, but it was great. So I feel like that helped build our chemistry. And I didn't get many of the humor lines in the movie. Those went to Father Michael. Unfortunately, he delivered them perfectly. So that was great. But yeah, I think there were times where we definitely had fun on set, and I got to express more of myself, which is more this than always being like the super intense, scary guy, even though I can do that too.
Right. What was it like playing such a good guy, but a flawed guy who's just desperate to try to kind of redeem some of his past mistakes?
Yeah, I feel like that's a human being. I feel like we all have those mistakes that we've made that depending on how good you are about healing yourself, that still kind of haunt you if you really think about them, or if you put energy towards them and really put attention towards them. You're going to start to want to get mad at yourself and be like, and start wanting to, at least I do, wanting to start, punishing myself, or like, come on, man, you screwed that up, dude. You had such a good, whatever opportunity here, all that stuff. So I feel like, he's a human being, and I love that about the character. And that was, one of the challenges I feel like for me was holding that sin that happened earlier in the film, that is part of the thrust for why this movie or why this story exists, and carrying that throughout me, almost kind of like a cross to bear, like I'm carrying that cross on my shoulders. And don't say it, Tracy. Don't give anything away.
Oh, was more fun to play? Somebody nice like this movie, or somebody evil and terrible like Tom?
The second.
I hear you.
But I will say, you know, this character is not, there's a lot of things that this character has. He's not just nice, there's a lot of range within this character. So I think, we're looking at making a second film about this. So there I will be able to most likely explore more other sides of this character as well, which I think will be a lot of fun too.
That was my next question. The ending really leaves it open for future sequels.
Yeah.
Are you on board? Or is that in talks? Is it just a pipe dream right now?
I'm happy that I'm leading this interview, by the way. I really enjoy that. But no, yeah, there definitely is. When Alejandro wrote the script, he thought of it with storylines that also were before and after. So he's definitely angling this for a sequel. And I think what's awesome about it is that when people leave the movie, they're so excited from the movie, and then on top of it, like, oh my God, there's a sequel to this. Like, I can't wait to see that. Like, it sets itself up in such a good way that I feel like people are excited and jazzed to see the sequel versus like, oh God, it's a sequel. They're just trying to make money. This is stupid.
Right. Right. Oh, it absolutely feels like you're getting ready for a battle, and we want to see that battle.
Yeah.
It reminded me very much of Mortal Kombat. Like, we're getting ready to really rumble at this point. And
it elevates itself even more now. You're like, oh my God, dude, this movie, this became even better.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Those demons are so well developed and really scary. Were they scary for you guys in the moment with all the costumes and the makeup and the lighting? Were there moments that it really was a little creepy?
No, not for me. But I will say there was a male figure that at times I was creeped out by. I won't. But the because I was in the trailer so often with the inmates that were of female variety, I was not. I felt, I didn't feel scared with them. But some of the male figures, I definitely had some moments where I was like, oh God, that is scary.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Absolutely. Where did you shoot exactly in Mexico City?
We shot all over. Mexico City, as you well know, is one of the biggest cities in the world, and it's surrounded by mountains. So the convent we shot in was a Spanish convent, and that was up in the mountains at like elevation of 8,000 or 9,000 feet amongst all these pine forests. And that was a beautiful place to shoot. I mean, what an incredible location. And then where we shot the town where the town is located, where I'm giving out food, that's in this a town called Tepoztlan, which is it's an hour and a half away in a different direction. So there's all these incredible locations all within an hour and a half of Mexico City, let alone whatever is inside Mexico. We shot in the studio there. And sometimes that was a little crazy because sometimes you'd be hearing other films or TV shows shooting because they wouldn't communicate as well as they could to the other cast and crew for other projects. So you'd sometimes be like, cut, because you're hearing another freaking scene going on. So it's pretty comical.
Well,
but I loved it.
It sounded scary. That's not really going to work for the movie, is it?
No. But I loved it. I love shooting down there. It's there's a little bit more of a wildness and a lawlessness that I appreciate that lends itself to creativity.
Absolutely. What was it like working with Alejandra?
Oh, I love him. He's a crazy man. I love him. He's a maniac in the best possible way. I mean, he knows what he wants. He's got a great eye. he keeps pushing and pushing till he gets what he wants. And I loved working with him. I mean, that guy's a madman genius. And we had a lot of fun on set. I wouldn't really call it fun. It's like climbing Mount Everest. It's more like it's hard to call it fun when you're doing it at times, but you look back and you go, wow, that was amazing. That was an incredible experience. Or at lunch, you're like, dude, that was crazy. But at lunch, you don't want to eat much food either, because if you eat too much food, then you're bogged down and you're like, how, so it was like it was a battle. It was truly a battle.
Well, it was a cool battle to watch anyway.
Yeah.
I'm told I only have time for one more quick question. What's next for you?
What's next? I am developing a few projects now with previous directors I've worked with. I can't give anything away yet, but there are films that I'm familiar with, that I've read, that I'm excited by. And, the pandemic has kind of made me look at like something I've been sitting on for years, which is looking at creating content more with friends and people I care about. So I'm really kind of pushing that forward. I mean, I keep auditioning for stuff as actors do, but I'm more and more inspired by things that I'm doing with friends. And so those are in the pipeline. And, in the next few months, we'll start, some of them will start probably coming out or being announced. That's the plan.
Excellent. Well, congratulations again. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, nice to meet you.